All right, welcome to yet another class of management, decision and control. Today we want to revise and we want to basically look at a question on inventory. So inventory management is very key to any organization, and inventory is one of the topics that we look at while we are preparing for the management decision and control paper. For companies like manufacturing companies, you find that most of their investment will be in inventory. Even for organizations that do buy and sell, they have most of their investments in inventory. So inventory management helps us to have an optimal level of inventory, understanding that if we have high levels of inventory, that also comes with costs attached in terms of holding costs. And here we're trying to look at things like maybe insurance, spoilages, obsolescence, rental costs for the warehouses, and so on. So, and again, when we have few volumes of inventory, again, that alone also comes with challenges to do with shortages, and these shortages later again come into aspects like maybe customer dissatisfactions, where we cannot meet the demand of our customers, or we cannot, let's say, be able to produce as and when. So we're going to have machine stoppages, labor redundancy, and so on. So either way, either you're having high levels of inventory or you're having low levels of inventory, there are challenges. So that is why we look at inventory management, understand what are some of the practices that we can use to have optimal levels of inventory. And then we have different inventory systems that we use to reach to that goal. And one of the inventory systems that we use is the economic order quantity system, which is one of those that is being asked this question. So let's just read through and see how the question goes and see how we can be able to calculate this. So they are saying that Rio Deal Supermarket is a family-owned business located in Hukunda sub-county, Masaka district. It is known for selling cheap and quality consumer products. The supermarket has been suffering from stockouts, obsolescence of products, increasing sugar prices, refresh, and increasing operating costs. In an attempt to avert the above challenges, the proprietors of RDS sought advice from case business consultants who made the following recommendations for consideration. One is stocking sugar in bulk to hedge against increasing sugar prices. Two is to set economic order quantity, which is EOQ for sugar. And then the other is to use ABC inventory analysis to manage stock. Those are the three recommendations. So with that, they proceed to also tell us that the proprietors of RDS made the following action plan to implement the consultant's recommendation. So one is to purchase 10 50 kg bags of sugar whenever an order is placed with the supplier. Incur 5,000 on communication with the supplier to place an order. Pay shillings 100 to print an order form and 20,000 for transporting ordered bags of sugar. Keep sugar in a separate store, which incurs the following costs per bag. So per bag, we incur rent of 10,000, we incur power of 1,000, We also incur fumigation of 1,000, and then security guards wages of 10,000, insurance of 3,000. So they proceed to tell us that the supermarket would earn interest of 6% per annum if the funds committed in storing sugar were deposited on its fixed deposit account. The proprietors anticipate having an annual demand of 4.8 metric tons of sugar for their ended 30th June 2020. The current market price of sugar is shillings 140,000 per 50 kg bag. The proprietors have identified cheaper sugar from divine wholesalers who offer discounts for customers that buy in bulk. In case sugar is purchased in bulk from divine wholesalers, inventory costs will vary as follows. So between 19 to 24 bags, we have a discount of 9%. We have an increase in storage costs of 9%. We have a decrease in ordering costs. And again, if we have 25 or more, we'll have 12% as discount. We'll have 10 as increase in storage costs. We'll have 9 as a decrease in ordering costs. RDS is considering buying either 20 bags or 25 bags to take advantage of the quantity discounts. They approached you as a senior consultant or advisor. The question goes on to ask us, determine the EOQ of sugar for the supermarket, advise on the quantity of sugar that minimizes the total inventory cost. And then the last question is asking us, explain to the management of RDS the process of ABC inventory management technique, which they are giving 4 marks. So that is how our question is, and we are now going to look at it in detail. Now, when you see this question, you get to realize that it basically looks at the different inventory systems. As we can see, we are seeing EOQ coming into handy. We are also seeing the ABC inventory management system, and so on. So the first thing they're asking us is to calculate the economic order quantity of sugar for the supermarket. Now, what is economic order quantity? That is the first thing that you need to understand. And definitely from your notes, you must have come across the economic order quantity as one of the models. But one of the things that we understand that at EOQ, our ordering costs are equal to at EOQ, the ordering costs are equal to our holding costs. And what we All right. So, sorry. we are now going to look at EOQ. So I was saying that EOQ has a formula, and EOQ, which is the economic order quantity, is given by square root. Let me see if I can see a square root sign here. Our square root. Sorry, I just want to copy this square root thing, so don't worry. So I'm doing square root of, now since it is EOQ, we have 2 CO, which is definitely, of course, our CO is, if you're looking at your, remember we say that at EOQ, your ordering costs are equal to the holding costs, okay? So we have, as we can see, we have 2 CO. Now CO is basically looking at our cost for ordering, okay? And then this is supposed to be again multiplied by the demand, okay? And then this whole square root, let me just try to put it even in a separate cell so that you can know. The square root is on everything. It is square root of 2 COD divided by, so we are dividing by our so-called holding cost, which I'll call CH, C small h. So this square root is covering everything here, okay? Is covering everything here. All this is under the square root, as we are going to basically see. Okay, let's focus beyond this. So if this is our EOQ, now from our question, what we are going to do is to look for these values for what we have been given, because we are saying where CO is our ordering costs. Just to define this for you, CH is holding costs, and then D is demand. Okay, so that's what we have. So once we have this formula, ours is to go back to our question and look for the total ordering costs, look for our holding costs, and look for the demand. Okay, that is what we are supposed to go look for. So from our question here that we have been given, of course, here we don't have any information, but starting here, they start giving us some information. So they are telling us the proprietors of RDS made the following action plan to implement the consultant's recommendation. So one is to purchase 10 kg bags of sugar whenever an order is placed with a supplier. So this is what they will order. And then the other one is to incur 5,000 on communication with the supplier to place an order. Now this 5,000, you decide where to place it. Is it an ordering cost? Is it an holding cost? So we can see that this is an ordering cost. This is an ordering cost. And again, we look at the next one, pay 100 to print an order form and shillings 20,000 for transporting ordered bags of sugar. Now, again, this is also, these two costs are also our so-called ordering costs. So what we have to do is we have to add these costs here to these costs to determine our so-called ordering costs. You can also check down to see if there's any other ordering costs that we might have, okay? But for now, this is what we have. So what we shall do is once we get to our Excel, we are going to add the 5,000. So you come here. So you start with the ordering costs. So the ordering costs will equal to, so we have identified our so-called 5,000, which is for communication. So we have 5,000 plus, we saw something to do with, they are telling us that pay 100 to print an order. So we have 100. Okay, plus they also continue to tell us something here that and shillings 20,000 for transporting the ordered bags of sugar. So all this is for ordering. So I'll again pick the 20,000 and bring it here. So this is what we have, 5,000 plus 100 plus 20,000. That is what we have for our ordering costs. And this, when you add all this, will give you, this is 25 plus 100, 25, 100. So that is what we basically have. So again, we now go to look for our so-called holding costs. So the holding costs, again, we go back to our question. Now, holding costs, like I said, these are the storage costs. And as we can see here, part 4 tells us that keep sugar in a separate store, which incurs the following costs per bag. Now, one of the things that you need to understand that CO and CH is unit. By unit, I mean CO was looking at per order, while CH is looking at the holding cost per unit. So looking at this, we can see we have, they are telling us rent, and then they are telling us power, and then they are telling us fumigation, and then they are also telling us security guards, and then insurance. So we need to be able to add the 10,000 plus 1,000 plus another 1,000 plus again 10,000 plus 3,000, okay, to be able to determine. But before that, there is also something else here that they are saying. They are telling us that the supermarket would earn interest of 6% per annum if the funds committed in storing sugar were deposited on the fixed deposit account. The supermarket would earn 6% per annum if the funds committed in storing sugar were deposited on the fixed deposit account. Now, I want you to look at this statement very critically. This statement clearly tells you that this so-called interest that we earn is only earned if at all we are not holding inventory, okay? Because they are telling us that we only earn this interest from the sugar, the funds that we are putting in sugar. So what if we are not investing in sugar? That is the value that would incur, okay? So that gives you basically what you would call your so-called, this we call it opportunity cost. So it is the opportunity, it's basically the benefit foregone. It will be the benefit that is foregone just in case we were not investing in what? Just in case we were not investing in inventory. Now, why we call this a holding cost as well is because it is a benefit that we are not getting just because we are holding inventory. So ideally, it is a cost, okay? It's, if at all we're not holding costs, we would actually be benefiting, we would actually be getting this. So us not investing in inventory would repass this. But since we are investing in inventory, it is now something that we are avoiding. It's something that we are not able to get. So it is, basically you would refer it as your holding cost. So we are going to also include it as well. So what I'll just basically do, I'll just pick these amounts as they are here. So I have that. I have that. I have that. I have that. Then I have that. So this is what we have for now. And then I'm going to include the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost. And we have said that opportunity cost is this that we are not the interest that we are not earning because our money is tied up in inventory. So they're telling us that the supermarket would earn interest of 6% per annum if the funds committed in storing sugar were deposited. So we have 6%, but this 6% has to be multiplied by the funds that are committed. So your question is, how much money is committed in inventory? Because you're going to get 6% of what is committed in inventory. So how do you get what is committed in inventory? How would you get what is committed in inventory? Okay. So you need to be able to get the value that is committed in inventory. Remember, they are telling us something here where they are saying that they will purchase 50 bags of sugar whenever an order is placed with the supplier. Okay, that is the first thing that they are telling us. And then they also come down here and then they tell us that okay, the proprietors anticipate having an annual demand of 4.8 metric tons of sugar for their, the current price of sugar is 140,000 per 50 kg. And then they go ahead to tell us that the proprietors have identified cheaper sugar. Okay, let's just proceed. In case sugar is purchased in bulk from divine wholesalers, inventory costs will be as follows. So they are giving us the different costs that we have and then what they are considering. okay? So here, yours is to look at what are we exactly investing in this so-called sugar, okay? That is what we have to look at. Now, the costs that they have given us, okay? When you come to these so-called costs, these so-called costs, the rent, the power, the fumigation, the utilities, guard wages, the insurance, okay? These are costs that we would not incur if at all we were not holding inventory. These are costs we will not incur if we are not holding inventory. Let's just go back so you see something here. They are telling you that keep bag in a separate store, which incurs the following costs per bag in a year. So in a year, these are the costs that are incurred. And they're telling you that the supermarket would earn interest of 6% per annum if the funds committed in storing sugar were deposited on its fixed deposit account. So what are the costs, or what are the funds that are committed in storing sugar per bag? It is this. These are the costs that are incurred in storing this so-called sugar. So what we shall basically do here is we shall first find the total of these costs. So the total of these costs gives us, let's see, the total of these costs gives us 25,000. The total of these costs gives us 25,000. So what that means is that the opportunity cost is going to be given by 6% times 25,000. 6% times 25,000. That is going to give you the opportunity cost, which they basically talked about here to be 6% per annum of if the funds committed in storing were deposited on a fixed deposit account. So what we shall do here is get 6% times 25,000, which gives me 1,500. It gives you 1,500. So the total holding costs, will be now the summation of this, which gives us 26,500. This one gave us 25,100. So in our formula, we have determined the so-called CO. We have also determined CH. So what we are remaining to determine is D, which is the demand. So what we are going to do is come here and say demand. So the demand, we go back to our question and look for the demand in our question. So they said something here. They're saying the proprietors having an annual demand of 4.8 tons of sugar for their ended 30th June 2020. The proprietors anticipate having an annual demand of 4.8 metric tons of sugar for their ended 30th June 2020. So this is the annual demand, 4.8 metric tons. Now you get to realize that up here they are speaking of kgs. Even these costs they have given us are per bag, which is 50 kg. So since this is in another kind of measurement, we have to first change it. We have to first change this 4.8 metric tons, okay, back into kgs and determine how many bags of sugar are in this 4.8 metric tons. So what that means, I'll just come here. we know very well that, okay, we've said this is equal to, okay, demand will be equal to, this is 4.8 metric tons. Okay. And we know very well that 1 ton is equal to 1,000 kilograms. So what that means is 4.8 will equal to 4, this will be 4.8 times 1,000, which gives us 4,800. So if I want to determine the number of bags in this, number of bags is going to be, remember our bag, each bag is 50 kg. So it's going to be 4,800 divided by, I'm going to divide this by the 50 kg bag to determine the bags. So this will give me 96 bags. So ideally, I have 96 bags as my so-called demand. So it's very important that you change this into the unit that you're working with. So we are working with bags. That's why the ordering cost they gave us as per bag, the holding cost they also gave us per bag. So once we have that information, then we can now get our EOQ. Remember, we said our EOQ is given by that formula. So you just reinstate it and substitute the respective figures. So we are going to have, now it will be square root of, so you're going to have 2 times CO. Remember, we calculated our CO first, which was 25,100. 25,100. And then this is multiplied by the demand, which is 96. And after multiplying that, the whole thing is divided by, we divide this by CH, which is our holding cost, which is 26,500. So we just bring it there, 26,500. Okay. So I'm going to get the values. We're just going to do this here. So you can press this on your calculator. You finally get square root of this divided by this. So square root of 181, square root of 181. Just try to press my calculator here. You can also press yours as well. You need a scientific calculator for this. So square root of, yeah, it's very important for you to have a calculator for this exam, especially a science calculator, because you might interface with such figures and you have to get a square root. So the so-called office calculator may not that help you. So I'm able to get something like 13.4, 13.48, actually 13.49. So this will give me 13.49. Remember here we are working in bags, okay? So since this is 13.49, when you round off, it gets 13.5. So this will be approximately, 14 bags. This will be approximately 14 bags. So approximately 14 bags. So 14 bags is our so-called economic order quantity. And like we said, this is the quantity at which the company's holding costs are equal to the so-called ordering costs. Ordering costs are equal to holding costs, okay? So if a company is wishing to optimize its costs using the EOQ, because this is the level. Remember, what we are trying to do here is we want to create a balance. We want to create a balance between our holding costs and ordering costs. So this is the level of inventory that creates that necessary balance. So having had that in mind, what we now again do is we go back to our question and see what it is requiring us to do. So the EOQ was just part of what we had as the first part of the question. So the second part of the question told us that advise on the quantity of sugar that minimizes the total inventory cost. Advise on the quantity of sugar that minimizes the total inventory cost. So remember, as they gave us this information, because they told us from here that they'll purchase 50 bags of sugar whenever an order is placed with the supplier. They will incur shillings 5,000 on communication with the supplier to place an order. They will pay shillings 100 to print an order form and shillings 20,000 for transporting ordered bags of sugar. Then they'll keep sugar in a separate store, which incurs the following costs per bag, as they have given us here. And then they went on to tell us that the supermarket would earn that interest on funds committed in storing sugar. And then the proprietors anticipate having demand of that. So this information was for the EOQ. They're telling us the current market price of sugar is 140 per 50 kg bag. The proprietors have identified cheaper sugar from the vine wholesalers who offer discounts to customers that buy in bulk. They're telling us in case sugar is purchased in bulk from the vine wholesalers, inventory costs will follow as follows. So 19 to 24, and then 25 and more. And then they are telling us that RDS is considering buying either 20 bags or 25 bags of sugar to take advantage of the quantity discounts. They have approached you as a senior consultant for advice. So this is what we are going to look at for question 2, because they're telling us that advise on the quantity of sugar that minimizes the total inventory costs. So on the 20 bags and the 25 bags that RDS wants to buy, either of these, which one can it buy that will help it minimize on the total inventory cost? Because by it taking advantage of the quantity discounts, it is actually minimizing its inventory cost. So that is what we are going to basically do. So we are going to look at the two scenarios and see what exactly happens. Okay. So let's go back to our Excel. Okay, so this is part B of our question. So we are going to advise our owners on the quantity of sugar that minimizes the total inventory cost, okay? Now, remember, they gave us something, a table And it's from this table that we are going to determine. When you realize, you get to see that the 20 bags follow under this category. Well, the 25 bags follow under this category. What this means is that when we are looking at this, we are going to try to see, because they're telling us that when the bags are between 19 and 24, there will be an increase in storage costs by 9% and a decrease in ordering cost of 7%. Okay. This whole question is testing us on our knowledge on the effect of discounts on the EOQ or on the inventory costs, okay, which is part of what we study. So what we are going to do, we are going to look at this scenario and look at this scenario. Now, the good thing is we have determined our storage cost from the first part of the question, and we also determined our ordering costs. Now, if they tell us that this category, our storage costs increase by 9%, then we can easily calculate what is our cost, our total cost here. It's the same thing we shall also do for decreasing ordering cost. But before I do that, I just want to share with you. The reason why our table looks like this is when a company gets discounts, it will be motivated to buy more bags. When a company is given discounts, especially discounts that are to do quantity discounts, it will be attracted to buy more bags. So the more the bags, the higher the inventory costs. Remember, currently, okay, they have 10 bags here, okay? This is when an order is made, they purchase 10 bags, but they are now thinking of buying over 20 bags. So just know that the storage costs will increase because there is an increase in the quantity that we are buying. Now, the reason why we are seeing the ordering cost reducing is because when you get more quantities coming through, okay, means that you're going to reduce on the number of times that you order. Remember, we have a fixed demand. So if you saying that instead of ordering 10 bags, you're now going to order 20 bags, it means that the routineness of your ordering is going to reduce. Remember, our ordering costs are based on per order. So the better your quantity, the more quantity that you are ordering, the less cost that is on the number of orders, okay? Because your number of orders will actually be getting down. So that is the principle that we are going to use, and that's why you're seeing here when the discount is when the quantity here is 1924, this is what we have, and it keeps on increasing. And that's why we are also seeing the decrease, that the more quantity, the more we are seeing the decrease, okay, happening. So it's that principle that we are going to use to calculate our so-called question here. So option 1 is 20 bags, okay? So let's look at option 1, which is 20 bags. So we want to see how do the 20 bags fit within what we have. So remember, when we are buying inventory, we have also the so-called purchase cost, okay? We also have the purchase cost. This didn't come through at EOQ because the purchase cost is not part of EOQ. But right here, if at all the organization is looking at the quantity of sugar that minimizes the total inventory cost. We shall also look at the purchase cost. And they told us already how much each of our bag costs. So our bag costs 140,000, sorry. So that is what we are going to first look at. We are going to first look at our purchase cost and see what will change. So purchase cost, we are buying 20 bags. So 20 bags has to be multiplied by what we have. But before we look at the 20 bags, I want you to look at something here. As we are going to buy the 20 bags, okay? As we are going to buy the 20 bags, remember, our question tells us here that advise the quantity of sugar that minimizes the inventory cost. Now, we also went ahead. Part of what we calculated here, we calculated the number of bags that are required based on our demand, okay? So we ideally need buying 20 bags, or we are buying this from the perspective of annual inventory costs. What we are going to do, instead of using the 20, we are going to leverage on the 96 because we want to look at the total inventory cost for the year. So as we come here for our purchase costs, okay, we are going to look at the 96 bags in total. Just first say 96, okay, because we are looking at whole summary for the whole period. And then we are going to come here to our information. Now, they have told us that the discount percentage is 19%. This is on the purchase cost, okay? This is on the purchase cost, or 9%. So 9% is our so-called discount. This is what we have. And then we also have the increase in the storage cost. So let's first get this 0.09. So if we are looking at our purchase cost, okay, our purchase cost would have been, of course, it would have been 1 minus 0.09. That will be our purchase cost. Now, this is we are supposed to again look at also the unit price. Remember, our unit price is 140,000, okay? That is what we have as our unit price. And then you're able to get your so-called purchase cost here for the overall annual what? For the overall annual inventory costs based on the demand. Let me just try to put this here. Since I'm using Excel, it will give me. So this is the annual cost. This will be the so-called annual cost. But remember, if we didn't have the discount, this would have been what our so-called cost. It would have been the electric 96 times 140,000. So this would have been our cost. We even put it here. This is purchase cost with discount. And this is purchase cost without discount. So when you get the difference between this and this, okay, you come to 209,600. All right, sorry about the network. It's on and off for me, but we'll try to proceed. So this is the saving that we had gotten. So this is what we save by taking on the discount, okay, for the 20 bags. So this is just a purchase cost. So let's look at the saving. Now, another way you would have calculated this so-called saving would be just to do this. We say saving is equal to, it will be 96 times, now the saving is itself the discount, okay? Because when you get a discount, you are saving that same amount times the 140,000. When you calculate this, you should be able to get the same value. It's just try to show you. You see, you get the same value. So this same value is like the discount. So this is the same, another way to calculate it. So we're going to use this same method when we are calculating, when it comes to our so-called ordering costs, okay? So they told us that our ordering costs from our question, that the ordering costs are going to increase. The ordering costs are going to, okay, these are not order, these are storage costs. Storage costs would increase by 9% for option 20 bags. So I'll just say, I'll just come here and say saving on ordering costs or saving on storage costs. This is saving on purchase costs. So I'll look at saving on the so-called storage costs. So I'm just going to use the same principle where I'm going to get the 96 bags. So I'm going to get the 96 bags times. Remember, they told us something here. They told us that our storage costs are going to increase by 9%. Our storage costs are going to increase by 9%. So let's just look and see what happens. Now, remember, we have our so-called storage costs. We have our storage costs, which is the same thing as the holding costs. So we got 26,500. We got 26,500. So let's determine our storage costs. Now, just so you know, maybe just to remind you that when we are calculating our storage costs, we use our so-called formula, okay? Because what we have up is the unit storage costs. But when you're determining your total storage costs, okay, we look at our so-called formula, which is given by, we have our so-called the demand at hand we have the demand, okay? And this is divided by our quantity, Q, which in this case is our economic order quantity. And this is multiplied by our so-called this is not storage cost, this is ordering. So for storage cost is actually given by Q, okay? Is given by Q divided by 2 times CH. And these are the formulas that you use to determine the EOQ formula, okay? I'm using Excel, so it may not be as clear as possible, but that is how it is. So this is the same principle I'm going to use. So saving on our so-called storage costs. So let me first use this other method, maybe so you understand it well. So I'm going to do what would have been the storage costs with the discount. If at all we take on the discount, what would be our storage costs, okay? And then we shall look at the storage cost without a discount and then determine the difference. So like I said, Q is basically your quantity, okay? And this is order quantity. The Q is the order quantity. The D is the demand. Remember our demand here was 96, but Q, we calculated the Q to get 14 bags as our order quantity for this formula. So what we are going to basically do here is we are going to get the 14, which is our so-called $14 is our economic order quantity. And the 14 is when we are not taking the discount. Just want you to observe here, this is with the discount. So since we are looking at quantity, if we are ordering, okay, if we are looking at this is storage, if we are getting 14 bags and storing, then this is how we are going to get our so-called formula. And then with the discount, we shall have, remember they have told us that with the discount, we are looking at 20 bags instead of the 14. So what this means is, just want you to observe critically. So this will be 20 bags, sorry, this because this is option A, divide by 2. I'll put this in bracket. Times our so-called CH. Our holding cost was 26,500. So this is times 26,500. So that is with the discount. And then I'll first remove this so you can see it. Then this is without the discount. This is the normal thing. We are going to use the 14. Our Q will now be 14. So it will be 14 divided by 2 times 26,500. Again, I repeat, the reason why we have used the 20 here is because option A is ordering 20 bags. So that's why our Q here is 20. And here, without the discount means that we are going to order at 14 bags. That is what we use here as our Q, and that's why we are seeing it to be our so-called 14. So let's try to see what values we get with this. So this one, if you will press your calculator, you'll get 26,500. And let's see what we get when it comes to the other. Now, again, I want you to again see something here. As we calculate, they have told us something here. They have told us that if we are taking this option, the storage cost will increase by 9%. The storage cost will increase by 9%. So what that means is that in addition to this so-called, this 26,500 that we've picked here, we again have to increase it by the so-called percentage that we have here, because they're telling us that it is going to increase by 9%. So it means that our new cost with the discount will not be the 26,500, but this will again be multiplied by, I'm going to just calculate it directly, 1.009. So our new value of our new so-called holding cost would be the original 26,500. Here we shall leave it as 26,500, but here is 26,500 times 1.0009. And what this means is you're trying to put the increment of the 9% onto this so-called 26,500. Okay? I hope you get the principle on why I'm making that adjustment. So this gives us 267 like this. So without the discount, we shall use the 26,500 as it is, because here there's our storage costs are remaining as they are. So for this is what we shall have. So we shall have 14 out of 2 times that, which gives us 18550. So let's see the saving that we have here, if we have any saving at all. So remember,
if we are ordering with the discount, we have the cost at 267. If we don't have a discount, it's 185. Do we have a saving? This time it's not a saving. This time it is an increase in the cost. As here we had a saving, in this case it is an increase in the cost. So this is increase in the cost. You're going to see it when we look at the ordering for you to picture it very well. So this is what we have. Are you pressed with your calculators and confirm to me these values? So let's look at our so-called okay, somebody confirms the same thing. So let's look at the decrease in ordering costs. So I'm going to look at ordering costs. So ordering costs. So I'm going to look at, let's look at ordering costs. With discount. And let's look at the ordering cost without discount. So the ordering cost formula from what we have is given by the ordering costs from our formula is given by D, which is the demand, divided by Q, which is the quantity. This all is multiplied by CO. That is what we have. So this means, this will mean that if at all there is no, there is a discount. Remember, if there is a discount, we are going to look at our quantity to be, instead of 14, we are going to look at our quantity to be 20. And demand will be standard across. Demand is 90. Demand does not change, either we have a discount or not. So 96 divided by our quantity, which is 20. This will be multiplied by our so-called ordering cost, which is 25,100. 25,100. But they say something here about this cost. They say there will be an increase, or there will be a decrease in ordering costs if at all we are ordering quantities in here. So ideally, this one, we have to subject it to a decrease, okay? And what I'm going to basically do for you to determine the decrease, I'm just going to, it will be 1 minus 0 if it is 7% as the decrease, this will be 0.7. So if you multiply that, you're able to get the ordering cost with the discount. Because you're removing the 0.07 as the decrease in the cost. Let's remove this. So with your calculators, are you able to get something like this? Could somebody confirm? Just press with your calculator and see if you can determine this. Sometimes Excel can, let me just try to do it here separately. Okay. Somebody says they have gotten the same answer. Okay, let's do when there's a discount, when without a discount. Okay, somebody says they have gotten 3614. What you do, first get this 96 divided by 20, and then I don't know how you're putting it on your calculator, but what you can do, first calculate this, write it down, and also calculate this, write it down, and multiply the two values together. You should be able to come to something similar. Should be able to come to something similar. So let's do when there is no discount. Now, when there's no discount means that we are going to do 96 divided by, now our quantity, remember our quantity will be 14 because we are not going to order for the 20 bucks. So our quantity will be 14. So 96 divided by 14. Okay. Times our value, which is 25,100. Now this value will not change. In this case, the 25,100 will not change. It will be the same thing. So let's see what this gives us. So we have 172,114. 172,114. That is what we have. Just check here. I think this is supposed to be 10 here. I think we, okay. I think it's supposed to be 10, not 2 zeros. Since it's 9%, because 9% is 0.09. Okay. So just try to check there. I've just realized it from this one. So you must come to this. You try to see if you can get this 172. So let's get the now here, will it be an increase or a saving? So with the discount, we incur this. Without the discount, we have this. So it means that when we take on a discount, there will be a saving. So the saving is this minus this. This will be our saving. So as we had that, then we also had this saving here on the purchase cost, which was 1,209, okay? But this is an increase in the cost. So if you want to get the total saving here, it's going to be, it's basically going to be this saving, add this saving, and less the increase in cost, which would give us about 1166318. This is what we have as the increase, as basically the saving that we have when we order option 1. So let's just look at option B, option 2. Let's look at option 2, where we are ordering. Remember, they told us that option 2, we are ordering 25, I think there are 25 bags, yes. So let's look at the 25 bags and then use these values to determine. So let's see. So let's start again with the purchase cost. Before the purchase cost, just to react again, how I determined this total saving, I basically, these are the values. Remember on the purchase, this was our saving. Remember with the discount, would incur this, like with the discount, we'd incur 12. Without the discount, would incur 13. So there's a saving. This one is higher than this. So this saving is the 1209. On this, if it's storage, if there is a discount, would incur 288. Without the discount, would incur 185. So this one is not in our favor. It is an increase in cost. This one is ordering. And they have told us that ordering, if we have a discount, this will be the cost. If there's no discount, this will be the cost. So ideally, when we have a discount, there's a saving, which is this. So if you want to determine the total saving, you basically get the first value plus this other savings and less any increase in cost, which is 103,350. So with that, again, I now move to these 25 bags. I'm going to start with the purchase cost. Let me use this same principle so that we can get it. So I'm going to do purchase with discount, purchase without discount. So they're telling me that if I purchase 25 bags and more, I get a discount of 12. I get a purchase discount of 12. So what that means is the cost will be, remember, my total demand is 96 bags that I need in a year. And they told me that the unit price is 140,000. So if I have a discount, it means that this will be multiplied by 1 minus the 12%, which is 0.12. Okay? That is what I'll basically have as my so-called purchase price. So let me just remove this equal sign so you can see it. So that's what I'll have. And then this equal to this gives you 1182,700. That is what I basically have. And then let's look at now without the discount. So without the discount, it will be the same thing. 96 times 140,000. It will be normal price, which is the same thing we got up. So when you get the difference, this minus this will be your saving. So your saving is, we have seen the saving here for the 25 bags, write that. Let's look at the storage costs. So let's get the storage costs with discount. the storage costs without discount. So remember, we said that our storage cost formula is given by, we said it's given by quantity, should divide by 2 times CH, which is our holding cost. So here, with the discount, remember our chew has now changed 25 bags, so it will be 25 divided by 2 times the CH. CH is what we got here up, 26,500. 26,500. But again, this is changing. It is changing because when we are ordering 25 bags, our storage cost will increase by 10%. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to multiply this by 1 plus 0.1. 10% is 0.1, okay? 10% is 0.1. So this is how my cost will be. If I take it here, I'll basically get 364. $364,375. 364,375. And then I'm going to look at.
Excuse me, Mr. Sam.
Yes, you're excused.
Why have you added the 0.1? I thought it was 0.9 also.
Okay, let's just try to.
I've understood it is 10%, not 9.
Yes, for 25 bucks, it is 10%. This 99, we used it at the other level.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at storage cost without the discount. It will be, without the discount, remember we are ordering 14 bags, divide by 2, and this is multiplied by our so-called 26,500 as it is. So the answer to this would now be 188,18550. That is what we shall have as our so-called cost without, storage cost without the discount. So the saving will be this minus this, which gives you 178,875 as your saving.
Is it the saving or it is now the increase?
Good question. So when you look at the storage costs with the discount, they are higher than the storage cost without the discount. So when you take out the discount, we incur a higher cost. So it is an increase in cost. It's a negative saving, but anyway, from another language, you can call it an increase in costs. So it's an increase in cost. Thank you. So this is what we have for the storage costs. Let's look at our so-called ordering costs. So we're going to look at ordering costs with discounts. And we are going to look at ordering costs without discounts. So what that means is we are going to remember our ordering cost formula. It is given by demand divided by Q multiplied by CO, which is our ordering unit cost. So with the discount, our Q is 25, but our D is the same. So 96 divided by 25 multiplied by our CO, which is the same, 25,100, but this CO is changing based on what we have here. They have told us that when we are ordering 25 bucks, our CO will decrease by 9%. So I'm going to multiply this. 1 minus 0.9% is 0.09. That is what we have. So the answer to this will be 87709. I hope you get the same answer with your calculators. Just in case you get a different answer, you let us know. So that is with the discount. Without the discount means that we shall have our 96 divided by 14, which is our order quantity without the discount. And this will be multiplied by the 25,100 without any multiplication again, because there is no difference. It's the same value. And this will give us, from your calculator, to give you 172,114. So you're able to get your difference. Now here, let's see, is it a savings? Is it an increase in cost? With the discount, we have 87. Without the discount, we have, so when you take on the discount, we save. So 172 minus 87 gives us 84,404. So we've looked at our ordering costs. We've also looked at our purchase costs, and we've looked at our storage costs. So let's get our total saving. So like I said, the saving will be this plus this minus this, which gives you 1518329. That is what you basically get. So what this means is that if you take on option A, option 1, you save 1166. If you take on option B, which is option 2, you save 1518. So the saving is higher when we order 25 bags, because this is 116, this is 15. Remember our question, again, back to our question, tells that RDS is considering buying either 20 bags or 25 bags of sugar to take advantage of the quantity discounts. They have approached you as a senior consultant for advice. So they are asking you advice on the quantity of sugar that minimizes the total inventory cost. So as you can see, we are looking at the total inventory cost. That's why we've even included the purchase costs. So from here, you get to realize that this quantity, 25 bags, minimizes our total inventory cost. So RDS should order for 25 bags which gives it a discount of 12%. And that brings about a total saving of 1518329 compared to the 116317 if we were ordering 20 bags. So that is how you would respond, and that is the advice you would give them. RDS should order 25 bags to take advantage of the 12% discount, because this gives them a total saving on 158, which is higher than the 1166318 when we order 20 bags. So that's what the examiner expected you in this question. And the other part of the question was asking us to explain to the management of RDS on the process of applying ABC inventory management technique. This you should be able to do it. Now, ABC as an inventory technique means we classify inventory in 3 categories. That is category A, category B, and category C. Now, category A are usually inventory of high priority. Inventory that is of high priority and means that it is expensive inventory. It being expensive also means that it takes a higher percentage of the organization's inventory budget. It is usually given a value of 80%. So it basically takes up 80% of the overall inventory budget. But in terms of number, this inventory, because it is of high value, it is usually of a small number. It's a small number inventory with a higher value. So in terms of number, it takes on average about 20%. Okay? So it takes 20% of the inventory, but its value is over 80% of the overall inventory budget. That is class A. Now, class B is usually looked at as inventory that is of moderate value or medium cost. And this is looked at to take about 15 to 30% of the overall inventory in terms of quantity. And in terms of value, this usually is looked at a value of about 15%. Remember, the 80% has already been eaten up by category A. So this one takes up the 15% as in terms of value, but although it is in terms of 15 to 30%, that is category B. Categories All right, so I was saying that when it comes to inventory classification, as we can see, I said you classify inventory in 3 categories, okay? And those 3 categories is A, B, and C. So I said A is expensive, high priority inventory, B is moderate value, and then C usually includes the majority of the inventory. But this inventory, although it takes about a huge percentage of, let's say 50 to 70%, this inventory is of low value. It is just to the extent of about 5%. So this methodology tells us that we should basically do what? We should make sure that we give priority to the most expensive inventory, which is class A, and we should give less priority to inventory C, okay? Because of the investment that is taken in this inventory. So when they ask you here, explain to management of RDS the process of applying ABC, first, when it comes to the process, we look at the value of each category of inventory, okay? And then we also, of course, look at in terms of number of the inventory, okay? And then we are able to, of course, go ahead to, one is to compute the annual usage of each of the different categories. And by annual usage, what we do is we get each item and multiply it by the number of the units used, okay? With the required cost per unit. And again, after we have determined the usage value, we go ahead to now arrange these, of course, these items in terms of usage value, okay? And then after you have done that, you again compute the percentage of total value for each item, making a cumulative total of the number of items and the usage value. I think for this one specifically, maybe I'll just try to provide you a text. I'll share with you this process within the WhatsApp group. So if you're not in the WhatsApp group, then you can be able to join since it's theory for today. So I want to thank you so much for being part of this session. And I want to wish you all the best for this.